What? Look at you and your. I don't want to see you.
What? Well, you can turn your thing off. You know how to do it, don't you?
You're in sweatpants. That's crazy.
You see that stuff, those things on TV, they're sitting there in their underwear and a dress shirt, and he falls over.
Yeah.
You want this? The stylus thing?
For what?
Touch screen? I use that touch screen, because I have fat fingers.
Am I on mute?
Yeah, you should be. Bottom line is where you're using that.
Mm-mm.
Mute it.
Yeah, right here. Mute and video.
Can you hear me now? All right. You're muted. Huh? No, you're muted. I can barely hear you. I can just hear you through the city hall. All right. I'm going to start admitting people here. Got a couple.
How do I turn off the camera?
That's right next to the volume thing. A little picture of a camera.
Can you hear me, John?
There we go.
I can hear you, Craig, but I can't see you.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know, because you haven't. There.
Start my video. Okay.
You should be able to start it yourself too when you're doing it.
There we go.
Are you on a computer or are you on your iPad?
Computer.
Okay. Yeah, you should have either in the bottom left or the top right, you'll have the mute and the stop video thing. Little picture of a camera and a little picture of a microphone.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. You're
Okay.
good.
All right. Every time I get one of these, either here at the library, at least the library is a little different. I don't know why, how we got it set up.
Well, all devices have Zoom set up a little different.
Huh.
I'm using my MacBook from home. I bring in,
Oh,
and
okay.
Maria's using my my iPad from work. Even though they're both Apple, they're set up a little different.
And this is a Mac.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
This is a Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Good evening.
Gabe, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to meet everyone here.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
I'm gonna put myself on mute until we get started, unless we're ready to start.
No, we got about 10 more minutes. And
Okay, very good.
We've only got one board member on right now, so.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll mute myself and block my video. I'm gonna get some notes together. I'll be right back.
Yep, sounds great.
You use your own computer instead of the city's?
Yeah, I just.
You like, like
Easier
the
just to
Apple
grab,
bet- you like
easier
the
to grab
Apple
the
better.
MacBook and bring it in.
you like the Apple better, don't you?
Well, my desktop computer here doesn't have a camera.
Oh,
Yeah. So I mean, usually I just use the iPad that I've got, but Maria's up front doesn't have a camera either, so she's got my iPad and I just bring my MacBook. We have a MacBook at City Hall too, but I don't know. Instead of making sure that one's charged, I just use my own.
well, tell Mark not to be so cheap and get cameras for him.
He's got one. He's got one on his computer.
I know, I said, tell him not to be so cheap.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't mind. I bring the agenda up on my computer.
Yeah.
And well, Katie Weenan's in, even though she's not part anymore.
I wonder why, but she
I don't know.
doesn't know she's not on yet anymore.
I don't know.
What do I hit, the folder on my iPad?
What's that?
I hit that folder, don't I, to bring up the stuff,
I'm sorry, to do what?
to bring up the agenda and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, open it up. Yep.
The folder, okay.
Hey, Katie,
Hi. I literally just walked in the door from
Are you-
Wausau.
are you just joining us for fun, or? Because you're technically on the council now, aren't you?
Not technically.
Oh, well, I've got Mike Doyle, your replacement's on tonight.
Well, perfect. I'd be happy to go off.
Yeah, you don't have to be here if you don't want to be.
I thoroughly enjoy it, but I literally just got home.
Yeah, no, go do your thing if you want.
Enjoy, Mike.
Yeah, he's not on yet, but he'll be all right.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, see you, Katie.
See you, Katie. No, that ain't it. Let's see here. Meeting canceled April 1st. Okay, there it is. Oh, I got it. Tap. Yeah. There we go. I see Jack's on. Huh?
Yep,
I'm here.
I
Yeah,
can't
Jack.
see you, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
yep.
Yeah, I can't see you.
You can't see me.
I just asked you to turn your video on. You should get a notification, Jack.
Okay, there I go.
Oh, it's still you. Okay.
It's still me in my handsome red shirt.
Okay. And your suspenders.
Yeah. Why do firemen wear red suspenders? To hold up their pants while they're drinking draft brewed blats.
Carl, you got audio?
That picture with no audio.
Yeah, I don't have the option to turn it on for him here. He's got to turn his on the iPad.
It says connecting to audio on here. We'll probably be doing it live pretty soon, won't we?
Well, it looks like we just got email today that's from who was that from? Oh, sorry. From IML saying that we're going to move into the bridge phase next week. And then they're hopeful that we'll just essentially go back to, we'll go to stage 5, which is back to normal June 11th.
Oh, okay, good.
So come June 11th, if it goes back to stage 5, then we should be able to just come back down here.
Good. Isn't the city hall gonna open up Friday for
Tomorrow.
people?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Carl.
Oh, good.
Oh,
You
by
got
the
it
way,
figured
Carl,
out.
thank you, Carl,
What?
thank you for the book.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mhm.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you for your help.
That's okay. Anytime.
Tell them I found it all the way back to 18.
We found the land back to 1837
Oh, okay.
when it was,
I bought it for $5, the whole lot.
yeah, the
Yeah.
lot sold for $5.
The whole.
The whole
Lot
second,
5.
lot 5.
Wow. Well,
which
I know Meryl will be back up for wanting more information.
Hello?
You're
I'm
there. We got you.
Gotcha.
Oh, no, I've got you back.
Well, Hillary was chiming in, I think.
Oh, okay. No, we're supposed to close on it,
11.
the 11th of June.
Oh, good.
You know what we did, don't you, Jonathan?
I don't know what you did.
We
I know
bought
where to
the,
go.
we bought the World Book Building.
Oh, well, I saw you guys over there snooping around a few weeks back. I was wondering maybe if you were looking at that.
We're going to restore it.
That's great.
I had one up on you, Jonathan.
Yeah. I was gonna go over and ask them, but I figured if they wanted me to know, they'd tell me.
What building is that?
That's when Leo's was built.
The Book World, the 300 South Main.
Yeah.
That's the
What's
one Leo's was built.
When was Leo's built?
Leo's?
The store?
Oh, I don't know.
Why?
City Hall. Well, we've got that one picture.
Oh, we've got a picture.
You know, the person to ask that question to is Matt.
Did,
Yeah.
did ask-
Yeah, he probably,
Right. He probably knows the day they dug ground or started digging.
ask-
now you got a new job, right?
I just got more job. How
You
about
got
that?
more job.
More job.
Hey, Carl, ask Marilyn if I gave her the picture with the 2 balconies on it.
Did she give it? I don't think so.
In the front?
The balcony in the front?
2 balconies on the front. Did she get that picture?
No,
Yeah.
because we intend to restore the balconies, of course. But,
Well, there was 2 of them on there, so
huh,
I'll get it for her when she comes in next time. She'll be coming in the library, I'm sure.
Craig.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan. Or not Jonathan. Hi,
hey,
Craig.
Craig.
I thought you said to me, hi, Craig, and too many Craigs here.
Craig
One.
1 and 2, huh?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Can't see you yet.
You can't see me yet.
No,
I got a little box down in the bottom.
I'll turn you on here. Hold on. There, you should be getting well,
I
no,
got an okay, so
there you go.
there I go. All right. That was like pulling
We
teeth.
got everybody but Matt Carroll. There he goes. Maria's first meeting, Craig, so be easy on her.
Oh, I'll try. I had a real long chat with Maria at the top of the steps, not the high school ones, but the ones a little bit south of there. And
Yeah,
she's ready for me.
yeah. Well, I had to give her an agenda with a whole bunch of stuff on it for her first one. I couldn't just do one small thing.
This one's pretty packed.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff. Well, I got to make it worth our while.
Right. If we could just get Craig Arbaugh to say a little less, we'll get through it.
I only do that when you're not there.
How do you get the agenda up on the screen?
Or
You
does that come
don't.
up? You don't?
On your
No, you-
iPad.
You need to look at that on your own computer. Otherwise, you block us from seeing everyone.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I can do that.
Perfect.
I
Katie-
print mine out and put it next to the screen.
Katie jumped on, Craig. I had to tell her to go away.
All 66 pages?
She's allowed on, isn't she?
Was I told her she could stick around if she wanted to, but she's like, well, if you don't need me, I'm out of here. So, well, we're all the members are here, so we're kind of ready whenever you are, Craig.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Maria, what's on mute?
All right, Carl Johnson,
Yes,
Jack Dennerline,
Here,
Craig Alba,
Here.
Mike Doyle,
Here,
Matt Carroll,
Here.
William Gertz,
yes.
Craig Brown.
Here.
Okay,
Now,
everybody's here.
Maria, you say quorum declared.
Quorum declared.
Good job. Why don't we get to see Maria?
That's up to her.
Okay,
Yeah.
we want to see you. There we go. Yay for us. Okay, is there anybody here for public comments, not directly tied to a specific agenda item?
I've got one here, Craig, from an email that they asked me to read. So I'll read that real quick. It's from the Galena Preservation Advocacy Organization, and they would like to congratulate all the 3 owners and properties who have been nominated for this year's Galena Historic Preservation Award in Excellence in Preservation. Their commitment to restoring and preserving Galena's history and buildings is to be commended and is appreciated by the community. That's what they got.
Okay, fair enough, and I agree with them. When was the last meeting, Jonathan? My minute showed as February 4th, and that's wrong. It was March something.
March 4th.
Okay. I am looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 4th, 2021.
I so move.
Do I have a second?
second,
We'll do this one by voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? Motion carries. We have no public hearings and no unfinished business. We're going to move right on to 21 HPC 025, a discussion and possible action regarding 901 3rd Street and the solar project that has been proposed there. And who do we have to represent the homeowner and the solar company?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Gabe Tungate. I'm a project manager with SunPower, and I'm representing obviously our company and Mr. Kern as well, Leo Kern, the property owner.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
Yes,
Do
thanks for having me.
do you have a presentation you want to make, or do you want us just to work from the materials we've been given?
Just from the materials you've been given, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Candidly, there's a couple of what I consider to be significant problems with your project. The first is where you propose to put panels on the garage is extremely visible from Route 20.
yes,
Where you propose to put the panels on the back of the house, which is generally something we want to see, I believe it's highly visible from, for example, the top of the high school steps or the steps to the south of there. In other words, one of the issues with your project that doesn't apply necessarily to the other solar project on our agenda tonight is you sit low in Galena, and by sitting low, your rooftops are highly exposed to our tourists and our citizens, and consequently, your solar panels are going to be seen. There's where the problem arises. I'm going to look to the other members of the commission to, please put in your 2 cents, comment or ask questions. Because I was very curious when Jonathan showed me this particular project, how all of you would feel about it. Don't all go at once.
Since I'm new on this, has there ever been a guideline established as to the point of view for solar panels? I know, Craig, you just mentioned that you can see them from the top of the high school steps.
When you say high school steps, Craig, you're talking Galena Green.
I'm talking
Yes,
Galena Green.
correct,
This
yeah.
is Mike.
Okay.
This is Mike talking right now, Bill.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I was figuring he was discussing. And I don't know if you use that criteria, you're going to eliminate a lot of solar panels within the city limits. I just don't know if there's a distance that has been discussed or established in the past.
So we have a guideline that was given to you in your package. We worked on it in 2019. We have not seen much in the way of projects since then, and we expected to. But what I'd like people to think about is not so much focus on the height of, say, the Galena Green, as almost every night I take a walk along the dike, and it's absolutely gorgeous this time of year with the purple and the white trees and everything. But you're looking at the back of a lot of roofs. And if you had 12 people put solar panels on the back of their roofs, that walk would look very different. It would be a whole lot less historic because it's nowhere near as high as Galena Green, but it's high enough you see the back of a lot of roofs. And I just think this commission is responsible for, if we're going to allow that, we're going to allow it knowingly, and if we're not, then we're not.
I've not looked specifically from that vantage point, but aren't there solar panels on top of City Hall?
Sure, but it's not a historic building.
Wow.
Neither is the shed behind the house.
Oh, it sure is, Jack.
It's historic,
Absolutely. That shed's 100 years old, easy.
really?
Yes. I
Okay.
was actually standing next to it today.
I stand corrected. I will admit, I went out looking and I could not see, locate the property. So I'm not much to comment on it except from the pictures in the agenda. But I haven't had the opportunity to see it the way it.
Well, with the road construction over there, you couldn't get to the site anyway.
You had to
Yeah.
go in the alley to get to
Yep.
it. You had to
Yeah.
go by alley.
Well, I drove over there, but I couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't get to the alley.
It was poor timing on the
Yeah.
road construction.
You know what bothers me about solar? We're talking standard panels. And so what we're getting on roofs, like, well, you can see the example here where the 12 panels fit on a shed. You got sideways and up and down. When they get these things developed so you can cover the whole damn roof, and it looks like roofing rather than a bunch of a patchwork of solar panels, because you're looking at a brown shingle and a black solar panel, right?
Yes.
And a jagged piece of roof around it. And that's kind of what disturbs me about these things. When we get to a point where we can engineer the panels so they cover the entire surface, they won't stick out like a sore thumb.
The the dilemma I have with this is that the city promotes itself for being green. And here we are, we're wanting to use solar panels and be green. And
visual gets in the way, right?
yeah, it's a tear between, both directions.
Mhm.
It is, and it truly could destroy the historic look of our town if it got prolific enough. And if
Well, I
that
think
happens,
it's
it's
gonna
on
get
us, because
prolific,
it's our
sure.
responsibility.
I think we're gonna end up getting used to a lot of panels. And yeah, you've got to concentrate on looking for them. When you drive by, you're going past in a couple of seconds. Or if you're at the high school stairs looking down, you might pause briefly and say, oh, there's the new solar. It's a dilemma. Obviously, we're trying to do the best we can. And, here we are in a historic town.
Well, and I just, by way of contrast, and I know we haven't gotten to the other solar project on the agenda, but when your home and everything is that high up in the town, and that application is virtually unseeable by anybody. And in that case, I just think it's very different than this case. What did the feds say about it? From that point of view, I think there's a number of applications of solar panels that don't create a problem at all. And then there's a bunch of them that do. And this one's kind of on the line for me.
What are the feds going to say about it? Are they going to demand that we do this?
Well, the problem, Carl, is, and Gabe is welcome to give us the lay of the land in terms of, are we going to get more aesthetically adaptable panels in the future? And the other thing is, you could put solar farms and basically pipe the energy in from outside the historic district. So it's not absolutely necessary that you put it on our historic buildings, but I would love to hear Gabe talk about that because he knows the business a lot better than I do.
Can I ask Gabe a question too?
Sure, but
Yeah,
let him talk about what I just said, then ask the question.
Well, it has to pertain with what you said.
Go for it, Craig.
Okay. Technically, you said outside, I understand that, and that's coming around the whole county, if you notice right now, all these outside farms. But do you know anything about solar shingles?
Yeah, so I'll address both questions as best I can. So I specifically represent SunPower, who's a multinational manufacturer of solar panels. They currently don't have a product that would represent like a solar shingle, which maybe you've seen in like a Tesla type product offering. In terms of my visibility, I'm obviously not at the upper echelons of SunPower. I have no visibility to a solar shingle coming out anytime in the near future for us. I anticipate the standard panel that you're accustomed to seeing being our product line for quite some time.
That's too bad.
I agreed. Yeah, I would love to see a more aesthetically appealing look. Certainly, as a representative of the company, I completely understand and hear that complaint frequently. And I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with everyone on the board, but I believe Chairman Craig, to your points, I would not disagree with you. It's a fairly visible location. When I came and conducted my survey, I knew that that garage and then even the height of that was more than likely going to be visible from many areas of the town. So from our perspective, in terms of a historical district, I can't say that I disagree with your assessment of it. And certainly we will respect whatever decision is made by the committee, but I understand the desire to maintain the historical preservation, that's something that we won't have if we, continue to allow things happening. So I guess those would be my final comments, unless you have other questions I can answer.
Could that same homeowner take advantage of a solar farm that sits outside the historic district? Can that energy be piped in?
So yes, specifically to their residents, no, but there are companies out there, not mine, that will, just like you said, they'll go out and take up 40, 50 acres of farm ground, create what's called a community solar farm. And then residents are able to opt into that and purchase their energy through that supplier, which is green energy. And, sometimes it can be a lesser price than whoever the main utility might be.
But they don't get the SRECs and so on though, do they?
They do not. That would,
Okay.
they're just getting a lower bill and the benefit of green energy.
Yep.
But I do think that's a workaround with any Fed requirement that Carl was bringing up.
Yeah, and I will be truthful that our company doesn't deal directly in that. I'm familiar with it, but I wouldn't be able to answer a specific about that type of topic.
I just think it's just a very big decision, because whatever route we go, it's, it's going to have a lot to do with the character of this town for the next couple decades anyway.
Well, I think up to this point, we've been able to say it's too visible and not allow it. And I think, we have to weigh that against the value of solar, I suppose.
Is there any part of the roof where it's not visible? Or is it all visible? I'm trying to see in the back.
The other side of the garage would be the best bet.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that gets enough sun exposure to get the results they want.
Yeah, and I can answer that. That'd be the north facing roof. It'd be the least visible, but also the least productive in terms of solar. So from our end, it's not a real, we could put solar on there, but we'd have to almost double the amount on that section of roof. And from us, it's not a live candidate, I guess I'd say.
And even if you put it on that side, you still got the problem with the house being seen.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, it's one of those weird applications where the front of the house is actually less problematic to me than the back. And that's almost never going to be the case, but it is here. Because the front of the house doesn't point at much. Yeah, there's a couple neighbors across the street, but beyond that, it points at a woods and a hill.
Mm-hmm.
But it totally destroys the historic character of the house, candidly. I mean, standing in front of it with solar panels in the front, it's not a historic house anymore.
Plus you got all the neighbors that are historic, two big ones that are historic over there for sure.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh. I guess I'll be the bad guy. Since nobody's speaking up here, somebody's got to do something. I make a motion, we deny the panels.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to go with Jack. He was slightly ahead of Carl. So Maria, put Jack Dennerlein as the second, please. And this is, I want to allow anybody any further discussion you want before we roll call. So anybody want to say more?
Well, I'm just wondering how long it's going to be before somebody wants to put a windmill in their backyard.
I understand solar and I'm for solar, but I also want to protect all the history of our town. And that to me outweighs the solar energy. Because if town loses its history, we've lost everything, so.
Well, and we have a uniquely historic and gorgeous town for Illinois. I mean, there's nothing like this, and that's going to weigh into my decision tremendously. There's just nothing like this in Illinois.
I'd
Or
like,
any-
I'd
even
like
with-
to
Draw a line somewhere.
I'd like to make a comment to Jack. There was a house on South Prospect behind the Fulton Brewery that did have a windmill 100 years ago. It was a water producing windmill.
And it stood on top of the hill, you can see from everywhere.
Oh, you could see it. You could sit on the Highway 20 bridge and it would be right in front of you.
I bet it looked more like a farm windmill than the present.
It actually looked like a Dutch windmill.
Okay. I'd have less trouble with that than the modern ones.
Yeah.
Well, and candidly, 150 years ago, this town was a whole lot less pristine than it is now. I mean, be honest. I mean, you had goats and sheep, and you had all sorts of stuff going on in this town. So historic character is a little bit of it is romanticized.
And you didn't have a historic preservation commission then either.
You got that
No.
right. Any
They
other
were
comments?
making the history.
Any other comments from anyone? Maria, call the roll, please.
Alba,
Yes.
Doyle. Doyle,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Carol,
Yes.
Gertz,
No,
Johnson. Johnson, Carl
No.
Johnson,
Yes,
Dennerlein,
No,
Brown,
Yes. The motion carries. It is denied. Moving on to 21 HPC 026, 407 Meeker Street. This is an application by one of our own, Matt Carroll. So, Matt, obviously you aren't going to participate, but you are welcome to make any presentation you would like. You also, it looks like you have Adam Johnson on with you, who I offer the same.
Sure.
You want me to go ahead?
Sure.
Yeah, let me, so what Matt is doing is he's remodeling this house above the old jail. So the main thing we're doing here is there's a series of additions to the original house along the east side, the right-hand side, on the first floor that contains a kitchen and a bathroom leading back to a little laundry room. And those are all, those additions are all, there are a series of different additions. So the ceiling heights don't line up, the roofs don't line up. If you look at the existing east elevation, you can see that the south portion is a little bit taller, and then it got shorter. And then they built this concrete block addition around the back of the house, up against the stone or the open rock wall there. So what we're doing is we're going to remove that first floor, the frame additions on the east, and rebuild that as a two-story addition, so that we can line up the the ceiling heights and the floor heights with the existing second floor. And then in the back, we're gonna remodel that concrete block addition and just build straight up on top of that to add the extra space onto the second floor, and also get rid of those flat roofs on top of the concrete block. And then we'll be able to kind of frame that in a little bit better and make better use of that space.
Adam, I got a quick question. On
Yeah.
your proposed east elevation, when you take down that addition and make it 2 floors and blend it in, are you
Yeah,
blending that in with the historic house or blending it in with another addition of another former addition?
it's a former addition. So we're building straight up from the existing foundation. So we're building on the original footprint of those earlier additions, but we're going up 2 stories.
But I don't have an issue with the addition being distinguishable from the historic home, correct?
Right, there's still additions. Yeah, and we've got it set back kind of the same way on that east side. And then we're creating a new entry there too on the proposed south elevation. So we're creating a new little porch there, and so yeah, that's a distinctive new characteristic on that. So that's pretty well differentiated from the original house.
Are you in any way, are you doing anything to the original historic house here, or is this all taking additions and modifying them or adding to them?
Right, pretty much. Yeah, we're not removing any portion of the original house or changing that, except for that, the interior space. So that second floor, we're removing that remodeled bathroom and creating some extra closet space. So we're making those bedrooms a little bit better by adding the extra closet space in the bathroom. So, we're making the rehabilitating the house and making it work better for a modern application.
And the additions, are any of them particularly historic?
They're probably,
19.
early 20th century, but they're not anything, I don't think they're architecturally significant as additions. They've got kind of different ceiling heights. So we've got a lower ceiling height going through that portion of the house. And then you get back into that bathroom where it's all pretty well cobbled, probably from the mid-century on. They kept on remodeling that kitchen and that bathroom. So there's nothing historic on the interior as far as finishes or doors or anything like that in that portion of the house. So we're saving all the original, the house has all its original woodwork and trim and that kind of thing. So that'll be reused and repurposed. The little bit we're going to be remodeling out of there.
It appears to be quite an engineering. I'm sorry. I said it appears to be quite an engineering feat for its day. Am I right about that, Adam?
Engineering feat? How do you mean? That they built
Placing
it
a
up
house
there?
where they placed it, it's really sort of remarkable to me.
It's you kind of wonder, how they picked that spot for sure. I mean, the little path that comes in off of Meeker from the upper portion where you can where you come on the little stairs. Yeah, that's about the only really good access you had. So, yeah, I don't know which way they came from to access that site to build it. You're right. Was a different place to build a house again.
Right.
Uh,
Did you have something, Craig?
No, I'm just looking at, trying to find an old picture of it, because I know I have one of it.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually hard to get out, and it was hard to get out and look at. It was kind of hard to access.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
You know, I think okay.
I have a question for Matt Carroll. How are you going to gain access to the garage? Will you be coming off of Meeker Street, or can you come down off of Soldiers Grove?
Soldiers Monument, no, that elevation is too steep, so you have to come
Okay.
off of, Meeker Street. And
You
then
will come up Meeker to a garage
to the,
and
the existing garage that's there.
and still going to have another high elevation to get to the house.
To the house, yeah. There'll be
Okay.
a new set of stairs that are built kind of closer to the garage, but kind of like he has now, basically.
Okay,
So, because that's the only way to get to it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is an odd dock placement, so
unless I build a zip line or something.
that would be about, or another 4th Street elevator.
Exactly.
Does anybody have other questions about this?
I don't.
Craig, I'll find a photo of it yet.
Well, no, not the one I was looking for, but that's okay.
Okay.
I think the original house was like about 1870.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that it's post Civil War. I would just love to have been standing there today that somebody looked at that spot and said, I'm going to build a house there.
I'm gonna build a house right there.
I just can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Turned to her husband and kicked him in the shin and said,
Yep.
come here.
Now, I don't know, there might be some phenomenal views from up there.
I'll bet.
From back in 1870, before a lot of stuff was built down there, so.
Adam, when do you think that porch was put on the front?
Well, I think the porch on the front was original. They changed that roof on the north side when they changed the deck and extended the decks out. And I wouldn't know when they did that. I would think that was done in the, mid to late century 20th.
Well, if the porch was put there, it was put on after that house was built, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the picture I have someplace, which I haven't probably labeled yet because I couldn't find it. I remember didn't have, it was with the fire station across the street.
Okay.
And so I don't think, if I remember right, that porch wasn't like that, but this has been on there for a long, long time.
You're right. That little entry addition, a little entry that they have now could be some kind of addition.
I mean, I would just, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just,
Well, actually, the major changes don't show much. They're in the back, right?
Right. Yeah. Except for extending that deck in the front, but
Yeah, but
you can. It's already kind of extending the existing deck, so I feel that was a big change. Moving that stair and that the little dumbwaiter elevator is gonna be nice to get that replaced.
Do the members of the commission need Adam to continue his presentation, or are we all comfortable with how we feel about this application?
I'm
I'm okay
comfortable,
with
but I'm comfortable, but what I would like to do in this case is to, before we vote, to have the motion restated. I say this because on the first motion that was voted on in this meeting, I might have voted differently had I understood the question better. So can we have, it restated what we're voting on before we vote?
So in the first vote, Craig Arbaugh's motion was to deny the application. So if you voted
That's
yes,
what-
you were denying it.
That's what I would have done, but I suspect as I listened to it, that I voted the opposite from what I felt.
We will note that, Jack, and I appreciate that. But this time through, we'll be absolutely clear. You know what you're voting on, but we don't
Good.
have a motion yet.
Good. Have it stated when you have one.
Can I get one?
There you go.
Yes, can I say
Well,
one more thing before we make a motion?
Sure.
I did find a picture.
Oh.
It shows the courthouse and the house. And when the house was originally built, it looks like it was just a rectangular home.
That would be
Interesting.
my guess as well.
Yeah, all that rest of that stuff was added over the centuries. And this picture is probably before 1900, probably 1890s or so.
Is it?
Because the old school that burnt down is on the hill. And the tower is still on Fee Hall and all that stuff. So
Street still cobble and gravel.
I can't see that. But the firehouse is there.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the photos I have of the firehouse, all the Meeker Street was all
Gravel.
rough gravel and cobblestone, so.
And that window on the top on that end facing your the peak of that house was only a one window, and now it's two. But so it's been it's been updated time after time.
There we go.
So
That was my suspicion.
yeah, I mean that's what I found. So I just remembered where it was at. So since it's been, I should say, I don't want to say, since it's been changed so much, I have no objection, so I will make a motion that we approve the application.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Jack Dennerline has a second. We're going to do a roll call. If you vote yes, you are approving this application. If you vote no, you are disapproving this application. Maria, call the roll, please.
Mike Doyle,
Yes,
Matt Carroll,
Abstain?
Bill Gertz,
yes.
Carl Johnson,
yes,
Jack Dennerline,
Yes.
Craig Abba,
Yes.
Craig Brown.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Carroll and Mr.
Can I-
Johnson.
Can I make a comment here? Not about it, but just so Matt knows, since he seems to bring a lot to our board. Technically, when you abstain, you're voting in favor of the majority. You should really just step away, say, excuse me from the board, and then back. Just a procedure.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Maria, just for the record, reflect that he didn't vote at all, please. Because I said at the beginning that he wasn't to participate.
Will do.
and Jack Dennerlin, just for your information, when you had that comment about the prior motion, you said you would have voted the opposite way. I would have also voted the opposite way. So I believe you and I would have canceled each other out anyways.
Fair game.
Good evening. This is Gabe again from the earlier presentation. I just wanted to see if there was any further need for me to be in attendance or.
No, that's all right, Gabe. You can leave if you want.
No,
Okay, I'll just express my thanks to the committee and the Kerns as well. We thank you for your time tonight.
and thank you very much for being here. You were very helpful.
All right, wonderful. Thanks. Have a great evening.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Gabe.
All right.
We are now going to move to 21 HPC 027, a application for 422 North Dodge Street. Once again, with respect to solar panels. Do we have anybody here who wants to talk on behalf of Jim Knack?
Sure, yeah. I am Greg Hart with Aero Solar, and I am representing Mr. Knack for his solar project. I believe we submitted all the necessary documents that you guys had time to review. So I'd just be happy to answer any questions in addition to those documents that we provided.
So to get the discussion started, as I've mentioned in the prior solar application, this to me is the perfect application in the historic district. Mr. Knack's high on the hill. His placement of the panels is virtually unseeable even by his neighbors. It's not going to be visible from any hilltops or top of any steps or top of the dike or anywhere else. It's just, to me, it's just not a problem at all, but I turn over the floor to the rest of the commission.
Yeah, I agree with what I have seen here in the proposal, that it's the opposite of the first plan that we looked at. That it's not going to disturb anything.
I agree with you, Jack. And Craig, it's way up there. You're never, unless you're in the hot air balloon going over the top, that's about the only time you're gonna see it.
Right. In the interest of saving time, if everyone feels that way, someone please make a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 21 HPC -027 regarding solar panels on 422 North Dodge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comment from any commissioners? Hearing none, Maria, call the roll, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Gertz,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Dinnerline,
Yes.
Abba,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes. Motion carries. I didn't catch your last name, so thank you, Greg.
That would be
No,
hard.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's Greg Hart. Yeah, thank you for your time. Feel free to reach out to us if you guys have any follow-up questions or inquiries about the project. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Moving
Greg.
on, 21 HPC 028. Application regarding 716 South Bench Street. What all of us would call the Gazette Building is about to become the Illinois Bank and Trust Building. And I believe we have Marty Johnson here to speak with us on that. Is that correct, Marty?
Yes, thanks, Craig. I'm here to answer any questions. I did have a little rendering that we put together that went out fairly late, and I'm not sure if Jonathan received it or not, but I could bring it up on our screen if I could share my screen.
I made you the co-host. I made you a co-host, Marty, so you should be able to.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I clarify with Jonathan? What exactly is our jurisdiction with respect to a building that was built in 1970?
It's just within the historic district, Craig.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't care about anything not historic, I wouldn't bring any new structure to you guys.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, there it goes.
Ooh, okay.
I lost everybody there for a minute.
I did not see that, Marty. All right.
It's ugly.
Yes, Craig, can you see my screen?
I could see the picture
Yeah.
of the building, but the actual drawing, I only see maybe the top third of.
Sure, I can bring the drawings up. I just wanted to share that initial rendering that we did of the facility. And as you can see from the drawings that we submitted before and in this rendering, I think the structure was built in 77 or 78, right after the bridge was put in and the mobile gas station that was on this site came down. And anyway, the original structure was built as a Kentucky Fried Chicken. It had the pyramidal roof on it. And it, has been painted. And we're proposing to remove that roof structure because we felt it's a little incompatible relative to the silhouette where it's located, and trying to have something to be a little bit more sympathetic and conservative from a roof silhouette. So we're proposing that that section of front roof come off, and then straighten that roof out in that area. We're adding a small little vestibule entryway in this area with an eyebrow, and then the drive-through area is to the left of this. And we are proposing adding an elevator to the building outside of the footprint. So there'll be about a 9-foot by 20-foot addition on the riverside proposed that would house an elevator that would service the lower level, the main level, and potentially a small rooftop deck that you can see that's on top of the canopy of the drive-through area. Trying to use the same brick material to be sympathetic, along with using some of the existing windows. It's a new doorway here. These windows on the side are existing, and then we're proposing to add some additional windows along Bench Street farther on. This is a site plan a paving area goes in this poche, and then what we're proposing is actually extending a curb cut back to Gear Street. That was originally there, and then a few years ago, the Newtons modified that and just had the entrance coming off of Bench Street.
So Marty, you'll come in which way and go out which way on the drive-through?
The drive-through, you'd continue down Bench, turn on Gear Street, and come through this way.
Okay.
And then there'll be two, if I go to the next drawing here. There are two drive lanes with a deal drawer and a pneumatic at this point. And then this area would house an ATM. And then there's still a drive lane through here, and then with surface parking, handicap parking in this area. And then the front door that would be basically facing the bridge. And then just in terms of a plan situation, this is the addition of the elevator on the side and the deal drawer for transactions, and then the two drive lanes with pneumatic and the ATM at the far end.
And those lights are going to be downcast?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's a lower level development here. And then these are the various elevations that we had worked up relative to modifying. So we're trying to keep as much of the existing structure as it is along Bench Street. The back part of the roof silhouette stays the same. And there's a original door here when it was a restaurant. We're filling that in and then breaking the parapet slightly just to create a little bit of a vertical element here. And then these are existing windows, and then turning the corner to the front area, with this being the front elevation facing the bridge. These two windows are existing windows. And then this would be the elevator addition, and then the two drive lanes with the ATM at this far end.
Is the, two questions, is the brick veneer or full brick?
Full brick.
Okay, and then on that elevation you had before that, it looked, it had, what are the panels, number 21, I guess it is. What, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, what is that? Is that a metal or what?
That's a, a flat ribbed metal that we were going to use kind of an almond or a tan color. And then there's a section of flat roof here. So there's a parapet here that screens the roof a little bit. So this material actually will come down a little bit lower. The actual roof line is down about 3 feet below this parapet.
Okay.
In that space.
Well,
Marty, this is Mike Doyle. How are you handling the flooding that has occurred in that building in the past?
We, there has been water in the lower level of that space, Mike, and you're right. We're going to excavate all the way around the outside of the building and put a larger drain tile and take it lower than the footing space.
Okay, so it'll go away that way then.
Yeah,
It
and then
should go away that way, yeah.
Marty, did you know that there is in that area, someplace underneath there, there's a spring, artesian well?
of that, Craig, but I mean that we've got those conditions in a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
And
I'm just curious because I know when I was a kid, I lived over on Gear Street. There was a stone building there that looked like a carriage house, but it wasn't. It was a manufacturing place. It was originally the old Einswaller foundry, way back. And inside of it, when I was a kid, I think they used it for horses. There was like a trough, and this water bubbled up, and then it went out into the river. And the pipe is still there, discharging water. If you can find it underneath.
Discharges it. We know right where it's at. It discharges it down by where they're doing the kayak ramp right now. So we know exactly where it should be a
I
non.
was curious, just mention it to him. It had nothing to do with the structure. I just wanted to know, in case he didn't.
that's pretty cool information, Craig. Thanks for sharing that. Was that building taken down then when Sanderson built the mobile station?
Oh, no, it was about where there was a house on the corner where part of this was, a big white house with a wraparound porch. And then next to it was this building, and then Sanderson's. And then where Sanderson's was a wine store back in there, and there was a little bridge going across where water ran down Spring Street. And it had a couple other buildings there, a hotel, I think, and something else. But that building was the old stone building. I did some research on it recently, and I found out on the Sanborn map, in fact, it's on the Sanborn maps, Jonathan, that it was a foundry, original old foundry. So, but.
Well, that lasted into the 70s, right?
Yeah, that was a beautiful old building.
Yeah, the nice little stone. I know, I painted it.
Anyway, I think this looks great. It's better than the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Marty, I think you've done an exceptional job here. I do regret not being able to get Kentucky Fried Chicken at the new facility, but beyond that, I like everything about it. I think you've done great. Thank you.
Well, Greg, you could make it in the motion that if they're going to allow to build it, like serve fried chicken every other.
Well, I'm not allowed to make a motion at all.
Okay. Can I make a motion?
Sure.
Who said that?
I make a motion that we approve the application.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I couldn't tell who that was.
Me.
Oh, Matt Carroll. I can't see all of you right now because the document's up. Does anybody have further comment? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Getz,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Dennerline,
Yes.
Alba,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes. Motion carries.
Question,
Yes.
where is the Gazette moving to?
Marty, does Marty know that?
I believe they're moving it into the old winery building.
Penn and Cheese.
That's the plan.
Marty, can you take the rendering down so that I can get back to full screen with the group, please?
Sorry about that.
That's okay, thank you. I can't see it was hard for me to get to my agenda when we were in that mode.
All right. Thank you, Marty.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice looking, Marty.
Thank you.
Okay. Back to the agenda. We are now past new business. We are on the issue, I guess we've given it a number, 21 HPC 029. The issue of the Historic Preservation Award, which we never gave one in 2020 because of COVID.
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did?
Yes, we did.
Okay, sorry about that. But we have three just absolutely phenomenal nominees. And commissioners, please start the discussion however you like, but boy, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I wish we could get more than one first place.
All three of those are so worthy of it, it's ridiculous.
Well, history-wise, the house on Bench Street is one of the older houses, but the one that Mike Harris did was, did some research on it before, and it is got a lot of history about why it was moved and everything. And I think the way he did the pillars, matching up the old pillars, because he did ask me if I had a picture of them so he could get the right amount of flutes in that rounded pillar. I mean, Mike took he took as much information as he could to restore this place. And I mean, he really did a great job. And I love the little brick house on what's it, Hill Street. That is great, really great. It is hard, but the only complaint, and Jonathan knows my complaint, but on the house on Bench Street is the bottom pillars don't match the original. They were the same as the top portion. And that kind of, for me, is as fussy as I guess I am. I guess I'm too fussy about historic renovation and stuff. That one has a check against it, unfortunately. Otherwise, it's a beautiful job, you know. And the brick house is good too. I see. What did you say he's doing, Jonathan? He's changing the siding on the back?
Yeah, he about the same time I nominated him, he took out a permit to take off the old aluminum siding off the back, and he's putting on smooth LP Smart Side too, which will look much nicer than that metal did. So that's why when you probably drove by, it looked like he wasn't finished, but that all happened about the same time. But it will look even better when he's done with that. So
I wondered about the rock pile in front. One question that occurred to me when I reviewed these nominations, and that is, should we be giving an award to a job that is not complete?
It was
my take on that, Jack, is that in the houses in this town, the job's never complete. It is a lifelong endeavor. You're always
it's
improving.
complete. My houses are complete, believe me.
Says you.
He was complete when I nominated him. He decided to do more. So
Okay,
I'm not gonna knock him for that.
All right, I just, that question occurred to me.
Yeah.
How do some of you other commissioners feel about this one?
Well, I'll give my 2 cents worth. The one on Hill Street, I guess at this point, that's my preferred one. And the reason for that is that house sat vacant for how many years? And was almost getting to the condition where it was gonna need a bulldozer. The house on High Street, that was still livable. The house on Bench Street, I'm torn between High Street or Hill Street and Bench Street just because of the age of the one on Bench Street.
I don't want to interject, I guess, but they were all unfit for human occupation or occupancy,
I
Oh,
agree
okay.
with that.
including the one on High Street. That was
I
also
agree with
pretty
that.
bad.
One on High Street is very old. It's in some of the original old 1850 pictures that I have. And it was there before that, so it's old. It's old.
Well, they
Well,
also,
when was it moved up? You got a date on that,
I
Craig?
don't remember it. I don't remember.
It
So-
was, I think it was in like the 1880s. It was
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
very,
I-
very early,
late 1870s.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually quite the feat that they moved it when they moved it.
I mean,
yeah, at that time, yeah.
it's probably the last of the old, it's one of the last of the old halls that we had back at that era. The only other one that was old, there was one up by the by the high school, when the old school was there before it burnt down. And it was the German Benevolent Society. And then they bought the school, bought it and turned it into a kindergarten. But this building, this was right down the street next to the John Fiddick's house. And Fiddick bought the land and then they moved the house, so.
And Mike Harris preserved the Oddfellows paintings on the wall and had the Oddfellows come in to remove them so they could preserve them for their hall
Yeah.
on Bench Street.
He also restored the barreled ceiling on the inside as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
a phenomenal job. I've been through it at least once,
Hmm.
not twice. I can't remember. I know I was through it once. Mike. took me
It is absolutely true that both inside and out, Mike Harris just, well, he's a phenomenal carpenter to begin with, but the job he did was just extraordinary.
I mean, those pillars he had replicated are just perfect, right down to how many flutes,
But I am enamored with that Bench Street house. I saw what that poor guy went through and it was just unbelievable. So,
Having been through Hill Street as well, when it was in a very dilapidated state, he's done a phenomenal job as well.
I definitely agree with that. The size of the project was a bit smaller. But I don't mean to belittle, I'm grasping at straws to make distinctions, Mike, more than anything else.
Mhm.
Your comment was what now, Craig? Can you repeat
I
that?
just think the overall size of that project was less than the other two.
Oh, okay.
And that's not to say it wasn't enormous, it was, but the other two are just, anyway, again, I'm just looking for any way to make a distinction because every one of these nominations is worthy of the award.
I'm gonna ask a question to try to provide some distinction, whether it's a proper question or not. I'll leave that up to you, Craig. Do we know how much money was spent on each one of these houses?
I think that is irrelevant.
Yeah,
Irrelevant?
Yes, irrelevant. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't-
Yeah, well,
And
especially since Mike Harris owned the house that he did the work on. So how you really gonna know, Bill?
I mean,
yeah,
we have-
yeah.
we
it
have-
ju-
yeah, we have
As
building
as I said,
permits
I'm just
that-
trying to grasp to figure out some kind of a distinction as to how much did it take?
They all spent a lot.
Okay.
Right.
I think it boils down to personal feeling toward one of these three over the other two. You
Yep.
know, the fact that the little one up on High Street, you know, went to ionic caps and those took off the square roof support and so forth. And, you know, it's just a wonderful little building.
No, for
Yep.
sure.
And it really doesn't appear from what he started with to what he ended up with that it was a monumental job, but there's an awful lot of attention to detail there. I don't know how expensive making ionic columns is, but you know, fluted
I'll bet you,
fluted columns are pretty nice.
I'll bet you those cost him way over $10,000 to get them done easily.
Do we
He
know
also, he
Go
also
ahead.
took the sway out of the
Um,
roof on that house as well,
Can
because it had a big sway in the middle.
Jonathan explained to me that we only have one plaque that says the year, but is there any rule that we can't give more than one? And have something made?
I guess. I mean, I don't think there's a specific rule, but yeah, I have one plate with a 2021 on
These
it.
are three great restorations, you know.
This is not the first time that
Why
we've
don't
had
we
great
give-
ones.
We've had
Why
this
don't we give-
problem before.
I'm gonna say you pick one.
That's what I think we agreed to. As hard as the choice may be, you pick one.
You're more than welcome to give, you know, the remaining two that do not win tonight that the secondary award, and then it's still a good award. It's still recognition.
Well,
do we know the age of each of these houses?
Did I put it in the packet?
Well, let's see.
I
apologize, I did not.
I've been scanning through it and I didn't see it, but I
No,
could have
but-
missed it also.
I did not. Let me give it
Well,
up.
they're all pre-Civil War by a bit.
oh, quite a bit. The house that Harris did is in my 1850 picture of the hill.
Yeah.
And lower knee side.
Well, that Bench Street house is in 1820s. I'd almost bet
1820s.
on-
It's probably a top 5 oldest houses in town.
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure about the Hill Street. I can look
Okay.
that too.
Well, I've got my mind made up.
Well, here's what I want to do. This is a little unprecedented, but I want to do it to give everybody a chance to hear what direction everyone's going. I just want to go around and do a non-binding vote, not roll call. I'm going to do it myself. Bill, what would you go with?
Bench Street.
Mike?
I would go with High Street.
Matt?
Probably Bench Street.
Carl?
I would go with High Street.
Jack?
Bench Street.
Craig?
High Street.
Wow.
Yeah, that really made it clear for you, didn't it?
Well,
You got more
I didn't do it
benches
for
than
me. I was trying to do it for everybody else, but
Can I-
now I see I've got a problem because those two are the ones that I really,
Can,
Wow.
can I make a comment?
sure.
I think the reason that I would choose bench is location, location, location.
Yes.
It's the one that is seen by the most people that come to town. They're not going to see the other two. They certainly won't see Hill. They might possibly see the one on High. I love the one on High. I love the one on Hill Street too, but bench is the one.
I
that's
think
the
you're
short-
probably right. You know, we've been driving down Bench Street for a lot of years and just watching
Sure.
it get worse
That-
and worse and worse.
Everybody that comes to Galena gets down Bench Street.
Yep. It's right next to that old firehouse. It's one of the oldest buildings in town, as Jonathan had said. And that's what swayed my vote to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with everything you're saying. It will break my heart not to give the plaque to Mike Harris, who really truly can sell his time for a fortune anytime he wants, and instead chose to use his time to reconstruct a building to the nth degree. I mean, I just think what he did was amazing for our community. But I have to say, I tend to agree with the comments about bench.
Well, The only thing that bothers me about benches, those bottom columns, and I just can't get it out of my mind because it's not correct. I mean, they're so far off that it's unbelievable. You know,
All right, are you guys ready to make your votes official?
Yes.
Maria, roll call, please.
wait a minute, who are we voting for? We have a motion?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to have a motion for this.
Okay,
No, this is just a pure vote. Go around and vote.
You're going to vote for the address of the property then?
How about, has anybody changed their vote? And then Craig just needs to vote.
No.
Is everybody gonna stick with the vote on the straw poll?
let's vote again, because I didn't, some of them cut out on me, so.
Okay, go ahead, Maria, make it official.
Johnson,
High Street,
Dinnerline,
10th Street,
Alba,
High Street,
Doyle,
High Street,
Carroll,
10th Street,
Hertz,
Bench Street,
guess who?
Brown,
Bench Street's gonna be the winner, folks. And again, that's as close as it gets, because all three of them absolutely deserve the award, but anyway.
there wasn't a bad choice, so
No.
I'm happy with the winner.
Right,
absolutely true, Carl.
We gave 3 plaques.
this
I
is
just-
probably the hardest one we've ever done.
I would agree with that, and yeah, and hopefully Mike Harris won't track me down or anything.
I saw him going down the street, really ripping down towards your house.
So are we wanting to give the other two the excellence award?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes,
Yep, not a doubt.
All right, I'll take that as a yes for both.
okay, so we are at a point where I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Not yet.
Whoa.
Unless anybody is opposed, due to the amount of meetings we've had the last few years, I'm going to put a memo into the council for approval just to go to 1 meeting a month, starting as soon as they approve it or deny it, but it sounds like they'll probably approve it if I ask.
Is that why it
So-
shows June 3rd as the next meeting?
I did write that in there for that, but I mean, it won't be official. So if we have one at the end of the month, we'll have one at the end of the month.
Okay.
But yes, it'll be the first Thursday is what I'm gonna propose.
What week is that? What week of
I'm
June?
gonna propose that it's just the first Thursday, which would be what
Okay.
we're having right now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't have, yeah, okay.
I don't have any objection to it at all, Jonathan. At least based on current volume, it makes perfect sense. And if something changes up the road, well, it can change.
Always can have a special meeting.
Yes,
Correct.
that's right. Yeah, I'm okay with it also.
Okay.
Because I had made myself a note on that. What about 5:20? So I was gonna catch you before we closed out.
I was wondering if anybody would catch it. All right.
Okay,
that
now
answers
I'll
that
entertain a
question.
motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Yes.
Second,
Oh, go ahead.
Second is Bill,
Carl.
is Carl. All in favor by voice vote, say aye.
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 We are adjourned, Maria. You did a great job on your first meeting. Thank you.
thank you. See you guys
Yeah.
on the
See you
6th.
guys.
See you,
Have a
Jack.
Good evening.
Hey, Mike.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.